Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Astrolife on Instagram. I'm your host, Rod Chang. Every week, we will invite one astrologer to join us to talk about the recent transit and what's happening around the world now. Well, this week is pretty intense as I already shared it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter about intensive astrology configuration of this week. We have like a Mars going to opposite the Saturn, and the Venus is retrograde. Chiron is Venus is stationary before retrograde, and the Saturn is also stationary, and the form a yod with the Neptune and Pluto. All these kind of things intensify. It's not terrible. It's not dramatic, but it could be a little bit frustrated and annoying. But today is our pleasure to invite one of the great astrologer who is not only studying psychological astrology but also very good in Vedic astrology. I attend her Vedic astrology course. It was amazing. It's my good friend Sonal. So just give me a minute. Let me go to invite Sonal. Talk about it, and I really enjoy Sono's course. I think it was last year Sono was given a course in the astrological association, not astrological, I think London Lodge, astrological lodge, and then that was really give me a lot of inspiration when I listened to her talk about the Vedic astrology. It's very rich and very beautiful. I mean, astrology is astrology. There's a very different branch and a different view. But if we can just like open our heart, open our mind to learn the beauty of a different way to see the things and different interpretation, that is very interesting. And I think this is the first time I run the podcast with Sona. So maybe we'll have a little bit, we have to try a little bit more to just like connect to each other. I just send Sona, if you are there, I just send you invitation. So you have to just click it. All right. I will do it again. So I will send you an invitation, and if you see that invitation, just click accept the invitation. I think that's the way to do it. Okay. I still remember the last time when I first time run a live stream with I think was Isabel, and we all very new about the live stream. So there was a cause a problem is like I think I tried to call Isabel, and Isabel misunderstood, so she called me back, and so we were talking nearly 1 hour in the video chat on Instagram, but no one see it because we are in the video chat rather than live stream. So that is kind of things, when you're kind of doing this kind of Instagram things, if you are not familiar with it, it would be okay. You cannot see the link. Or just a minute, all right? Yeah, Sona just send me a link. Yeah, Sona, I saw it. I saw it. Just I sent an invitation again. Okay, or if you see this, you can say to join the invitation. How about that? To join the conversation. If you can click, there is a thing you click, say to join the talk or join the invitation. If I see that, I will accept you. See if you can do that. I mean, we're still learning. And this is the things about the. I think this is a pretty sums up the quincunx and the yield of a Venus, because we have to learn and adopt new thing, and somehow with the yield, the energy is kind of a challenge, but it's not refused or it's not denied, and it's not a totally kind of a, but it's slightly you have to try, you have to adopt. So well, we will try different way. We will try different way. So that if you can see the on your on your Instagram, if you can see the join the conversation or something, then you can click it. All right, because I keep divide. Well, yes. Let me see if it is okay. Well, if not, we will be very disappointed because our audience can only hear I talk about Venus retrograde rather than hear Sona's voice. Let me try this. I don't know. Okay. So while we are waiting for Son now, let me continue talking about why this week is that kind of a little bit frustrating, because the one thing is I'm already talking about the yield formed by the Venus and the Neptune and the Venus and the Pluto. So these three planets form a yield aspect pattern. Well, quincunx aspect, as usual, is kind of a it's not confrontation, but it's a little bit that we need to adopt each other, and the situation is like make things more difficult, like what we are now. We try to connect with Sono, and then but just like I don't know, there's a technical problem that yeah, Sona asked me how she can. Sona, you can see at this moment I'm doing the live, right? So I think there must be somewhere you can say join the conversation. You know, there is an invitation or something, because here I can only invite you, and I keep sending the invitation, but well, but I think you, as you say, you couldn't see it. I sent you already 4 times the invitation. Request to join button in the lower right. Okay, thank you, Peter. There is a request to join button on the lower right of the screen. See the lower right, there is a request to join. If you have that, if not, I will invite Peter join me. Okay, let's see if Sona can join us, because I already sent it, but I probably couldn't see it. Maybe different phone have a different setting. I don't know. Okay, Sona, if you see Peter tell you how to do that, so if on the lower request to request to join, if you can see that button on the lower right side, okay, on the lower right side, because I tried to ask you, but you couldn't see that link neither, and they still deny the Sona has joined me. Well, okay, unfortunately, I mean, well, on this Sona, you can keep trying, all right? So I will keep trying to, but I have to continue to talk about it, because, okay, so the yield, especially the yield, is kind of adoption the current situation. And what, hey, hello, look, this is the power of a yield. We keep trying.
Yes.
Hello, Sono.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. But it's on my phone though, and it's not on my laptop. So
yes. Yeah, you have to join on the phone. You couldn't join on laptop. That's why. Ah, that's why. Okay.
so what should I do? It's because I joined on the phone. I can't see the invite on the laptop.
Okay, so well, I mean, yes, you join me on the phone, and then so you can, you know, are you going to display something on the laptop?
No, not really. It's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, let's just chat about it then. Let's chat about it.
Okay, no worries.
Now, let you find your comfortable position like Venus, and then we will talk about the Venus retrograde.
Okay.
So, are you ready? Hi, Sona. Hi, Sona. So, I mean, Sona, you and I, we probably know for more than 10 years, know each other for more than 10 years since we first catch up in the AA conference, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
It was ages
then,
ago.
yeah, and usually you will see Sona in the conference, and with her beautiful gemstone and those essence and those perfume, and that's am I allowed to ask this? Are they all based on the Vedic astrology's remedy to prepare?
Oh, what do you mean, Revati? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Those gemstone or those perfume, those you know, when I saw you in the stand, and you usually present with a lot of essence and the beautiful perfume or something. Are they prepared based on the Vedic astrology idea?
Yeah. You're talking of the Nakshatra garden? Sorry, I'm a bit
lost. Sorry, yeah.
Anyway, so tell me, let's everyone, hello to those who are listening, and Thank you, Rod, for having me. But it is a crazy time, don't you think? I
Yes,
mean, I'm sure you
yes.
are aware of it, no?
Yes, I was just talking about it. I even use our situation. We try to join. You try to join me, but you couldn't find the link. You couldn't find where to answer, and you finally realized it was on the phone. That is really your energy.
Yeah.
It's like adapt it. You're trying to adapt it, but also because Venus at this moment is stationary to prepare the retrograde. But before that, I mean, could you introduce yourself? Because I mean, most people know you, but I will just talk about you. I mean, you are the one I know who has also, in one way, who practices the psychological astrology, but who also able to talk about Vedic astrology. And I really adore the way you present the Vedic astrology. It is new and with new idea and respect your tradition. Could you give us some idea about your background and what you study?
Okay, so I did begin my entire, foray into astrology about like over 2 decades ago,
Mm,
and I did study with Liz
mm,
Green at the
mm,
Center of Psychological Astrology, and that was a really long course,
mm-hmm.
and we were perhaps, I think, I'm pretty sure now that we were one of the last batches to graduate from there,
Yes, yes.
and it took quite a few years, almost like 5 years, and we had to
Mm,
go through therapy because obviously
yeah.
the name itself suggests that you have to be psychologically savvy,
Yes.
and yeah, so that was my introduction. But I have grown up in India. I was
Mm,
born in India, so uh, it's interesting that in spite of, like, in India, everybody has an astrologer, everybody has a,
mm,
and we call it Jyotish or
mm,
Jyotishi. Every family,
mm,
most people have it,
mm.
and it's like the norm. And but what was more for my journey, what is more intriguing and interesting is that I had to go through a Western psychological
Yes.
astrology in order to come back to my the roots, which is the Vedanga Jyotish,
Mm-hmm.
now the one I practice, and I have taken, like, we've 8 years it has been, and I am finally what they call it, a Jyotisha Pandita. That is, you are qualified. Pandita is somebody. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so thank you, Rod. I think you're one of my biggest supporters.
I
So
love, because I have to say, if you ever have a chance to listen, Sona talking about the Vedic astrology, it's so clear. To be honest, everything is clear, and I think also we are both air signs of the logic. Logic
yeah,
behind it is so important. But I also love the way you present it in a different and a very cultural and a philosophy way. Oh my God, I
yeah.
love it. That the thing, since I heard about your introduction, I was become fans.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So that has been my journey. I do work with at Watkins Books every
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. During the lockdown, and it was much more, but now it's like very, very busy. But
Mm-hmm.
that is person readings. I also do, the usual. I also teach, which
Mm-hmm.
I love, because you see, the interesting thing is that um, Jyotish or Vedanga Jyotish goes
Mm-hmm.
beyond just the planets and the signs and
Mm-hmm.
everything. It goes into a whole
Mm-hmm.
philosophy of the Hindu Dharma, the Hindu, as
Yeah.
in Mandarin, you can say the Intu Dharma, the
Yes.
Intu run,
Yeah.
which is one of my, I love the Mandarin
Yeah.
language. But anyway, so it connects you to the right. So it's pretty holistic approach to what is
Mm.
right for you, to what is in alignment to your own soul needs, which is
Beautiful.
what I think it is. And it's also very remedial orientated and
Yeah.
very karmic, but
Mm-hmm.
its starting point has always been that you have to be aware of your own karmic implications, that what you have brought in this lifetime, which through many divisional charts we see that pretty clearly, you know.
Yeah. Through the lecture of Sona, I learned a lot of things from the Vedic astrology. I mean, I don't really able to practice, but I learned the philosophy behind it. I was so in love with it. Like when we talk about karma, to be honest, thanks for Sona, because you give me a most clear idea about what is so-called karma and karmic view in Vedic astrology, instead of my idea of karma with, you know, the popular culture about, oh, that is bad karma, and this karma, that bad. Oh, everything sounds like karma is bad things. And then thanks for Sona, to be honest, without you talking about that, I will probably always just say, no, thank you, put the Vedic aside. You know, but and you give me a beautiful idea about that is what we're born with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also very much psychological, you
I
see.
agree.
It's very psychological, and which is what my you know, my attachment to it is. And so it tells you so much. Like, for example, you know, it brings in the concept of the lunar mansions. So right now, like I said, the Venus is retrograding, you know, 23rd. But of course, we all know, and Rod, as you know, and your beautiful work with viewing the night sky, you're aware that the Venus cycle, at least astronomically, we are in some kind of like a maybe like a third cycle, you know, because it's like the Venus trajectory follows like a 5 petal, like a pentagram, right?
Indeed.
Follows so beautiful. And just and Venus from the Vedic point of view is one of the gurus. Like Jupiter is the guru, Venus is the guru. The only difference is Jupiter is a guru to the devas, to the gods. And while while Venus is a guru to the daityas, that is all the asuras, that is all the people who are kind of, you can say, there's a very difficult word to kind of translate in English, but asura literally means something like a demigod, you know, some who are like, who can be a little bit mischievous, little bit evil, but overall they have a lot of knowledge as well of, you know, how to fight and so on and so forth. So these two, the energies of both of them are totally different. They both deal with knowledge, but one carries the knowledge, you know, for sort of like, you know, priestly activities, like Jupiter would carry all of that. That's Jupiter's domain, along with the, you know, the knowledge of all the shastras, the texts, and, you know, the scriptures, and so on and so forth. And while Venus is also all of that, plus it is also has the ability to fight. You know, Jupiter is not. When it comes to fighting and killing, Jupiter takes like kind of a backseat, because the whole idea of Jupiter, in from the Vedic standpoint, it's the life giver. It's one of the greatest benefits. It is a life giver. So when it comes to killing, it will not be, you know, it will kind of take a back seat. But while Venus, just as the Mayans read Venus so beautifully, the Mayan civilizations, you know, it is actually, Venus is a phenomenal fighter too. So not only is she like a guru for, or he is a guru in terms of bringing the Mrutyunjay mantra, which is the death conquering mantra from Lord Shiva, but it is also gives you the knowledge of luxuries and relating and relationships and all of that. But equally, it is also willing to fight for its corner.
Okay, let me summarize if I totally understand. So in one way, Venus in the Vedic, in one way, is also still maintain the luxury, with a
Yeah.
beautiful luxury. But in another way, is willing and able to fight, able to
Yeah.
fight. I'm fascinated. May I share with you, because in ancient Chinese view of Venus is also related to war.
Wow. Okay,
This,
there we go.
there you go.
So,
That's it. We don't need to go further. Just stop here,
yeah.
because I think let's focus on Vedic. It's beautiful. Thank you. And so about I think this Venus retrograde. Let's talk about. Let's come back to the Western tradition first. I mean, Western astrology first. So, what do you think from the Western view of Venus retrograde, and what you suggest to our audience, what they can prepare from Western way, and we will switch back to Vedic view. Should we do that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
So what, so you want me to talk about a little bit about the
Yeah,
Western view,
Western
or?
psychological view. Yes. How do you see?
Okay,
How to interpret in the
see,
Western view?
wherever Venus is, see, on a collective level, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know, this, I'm going to even bring in the concept of the yugas, okay?
Oh, please. Yes.
The yugas is like large cycles of time,
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
And we have, right now we are in the Kali Yuga, okay? Which is it's almost like a period of complete darkness. So, and this extends to some thousands of years, and we still have like another some staggering amount of thousands of
Oh
years
dear, joy.
left in this. But in this particular Kali Yuga, as we call it, it is the evil, by and large, will get worse and worse, okay? More and more people will be less religious, less righteous, less, following their own dharma or what they are meant to do in alignment to, less spiritual as time progresses. But this is also a period of phenomenal in terms of making progress in terms of spiritually, okay?
Yep.
So
Okay.
right now things haven't got so bad, but they will over time, and we are already seeing all kinds of evil coming out, all kinds of clashes and conflicts on a global scale. And so Venus has a large role to play, because remember, she is sort of the giver of all kinds of wealth. She's she's a karaka. Venus is called Shukra, and Shukracharya is not just a giver of all the death and conquering death and overcoming a lot of the diseases and so on and so forth, but she's also about purity, clean water, clean, sparkling,
Wow.
beautiful water. She stands for that. So that gives you a big clue as to how contrasting it is in terms of how far off we are, because right now we are having a little bit of, let's face it, all of us with our impure thoughts and actions, and our greed and our all kinds of things, we have become sort of really muddied in our thinking and approach to life. And so right now with the retrograde cycle, very much like as the Mayans thought, that when Venus goes retrograde, she becomes like the evening star, right?
Yes. Yes.
So she is like very powerful in the night, but she has gone, before she meets the sun in an inferior conjunction.
Yeah.
She has gone in a sort of like a plutonic underground, sort of like a Kali Rupa, Kali Rupa, or the form of Kali, where she's become very fierce, and she's kind of, she's trying to, a lot of negativity and a lot of darkness is surrounding her. It's like the night of the dark soul, it's sort of that kind of a journey. So that is not very different from even the Vedic view, where Venus, and karmically, if you have Venus retrograde, then you have karmically, there are many lifetimes where you have abused and enjoyed Venusian pursuits.
Okay.
So this lifetime, you have to really look very closely at yourself and be a lot more spiritual. because things are not going to come as easy to you as they have come in previous lifetimes. So
Okay.
that is because the retrograde planets have 3 times the power. So, and especially a retrograde like Venus retrograde, huge powers.
No.
So if you have natally Venus retrograde, I can assure you this is a very potent time. If you
Okay.
have, and even the degrees that she goes through,
Yes.
now that's when I come to, those are very sensitive degrees. They are sort of, she's now entered Leo.
Yeah.
And those degrees of Leo, it's in the nakshatra or the constellation of Magha, right?
Wait a minute. So here, I just need to clarify. You were talking about the sidereal degree, right?
Yes.
Sidereal degree and also Luna mentioned. So for our audience, if you are not familiar with Vedic, go to check out Sona's website first. But continue, please.
So that so Magha is a lot to do with the ancestors, and because the god, the Vedic deity for Magha is the Pitris, which is and we are also in the Pitri Paksha, that is right after 0 degrees of Cancer. The sun begins its sojourn into the southern towards it's called the Dakshinayana, which is the southmost southward direction.
Okay.
The sun sojourn, which is there even in the in Western astrology anyway. The 0 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn divide the sun's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is now a really potent time for any kind of spiritual pursuits and so on and so forth, because she has gone underground. Retrograde means she wants to know what her deep desires are. It will connect it directly to her lineage, ancestors, because Magha has a lot to do with your lineages, your forefathers and so on. And in Vedic, we often say that a lot of obstacles, lot of people doing negative things towards you, or any of that comes in the form of obstacles. And also you need the blessings of your deceased ancestors in order for you to overcome some of the blessings.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Sona.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
I mean, not finished yet, but when I hear about this, I was so touched. And it's a very beautiful way to interpret this combined with the Venus retrograde with the Luna mention, the Maka. Am I pronounced it right?
Yeah.
I hope I'm.
Perfect.
Yeah. And with the meaning of it, I love it so much. I always have, I couldn't do it like you, but I always fascinating about the Luna mention in the Vedic tradition. And I will try not to mix too much because I will keep it before I understand. But I love this way. So at this moment, if we face the challenge, and we probably have to also to relate it to our ancestor trail, and then to bring that power or bring that force back to our life. Oh my God! And what about the? During this time, we have the whole nearly 1 month. No, not really 1 month, but more than 1 month of the Venus retrograde at this moment.
Is it not?
Yeah,
it's 40.
I think until early September, And so during this time, and related to with this kind of a Venus, and what I can talk is with you is the psychological way, and you mentioned about the Inanna going the underground, because that's a Babylonian story about interpretation of Venus retrograde. As we should, I think from Howard Sasportas, his talk, he talked about this, and this is the way Babylonian people describe how Venus retrograde, because slower Venus going to the underground and stripe everything she has, her power, her beauty, her age, her magic power, and until she has nothing, to give everything away and to reborn. And that is like a Venus conjunct with Sun and the rebirth again.
Yeah.
So the beauty of a mythology is always is the best gift our ancestors give us to understand astronomy, to understand the life. So what else you can share with us about this Venus retrograde in either, mythology and the psychological and also Vedic way.
So this is, like I said, the Magha becomes very important. But then what becomes even more interesting is when around, I think it's around 13th or 14th of August, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken, when she retrogrades back into the sign of Cancer, again going through those very precarious degrees, karmic degrees. It's called the Gandanta. So beginning of Leo, end of Cancer they are like hot spots, right? And they're karmic hotspots, and they are very, very potent. So from Magha, sidereally, it's in Leo, and then which is the karmic degrees, and then it moves into the Ashlesha, which is the nakshatra of Ashlesha, when she meets the sun. Now, with the Cancer, sidereally, again, those degrees are extremely potent. And so Ashlesha is all about the Sarpas, the Vedic deity for Ashlesha are the snakes,
Yes.
Suddenly, we are now thinking, anyway, Magha has some kind of connection with the ancient snakes and and the Pitris, the ancestors, departed ancestors who have the power to curse you or bring you out of your curses. And then now it is in Ashlesha. So that inferior conjunction with the sun is happening in Ashlesha. And Ashlesha is very, very, it is extremely poisonous. Ashlesha is where, all the poison comes out, and Lord Shiva, when all the, the turning of the ocean happened, for the nectar of immortality, when the first thing that came out was the poison, and that poison relates to the poison of Ashlesha. And so Lord Shiva literally drank that, and turned blue, his throat turned blue, right?
Yes.
So this is extremely potent time, because don't forget, while Venus is in Leo, Mars over the next few days is exact opposition to Saturn.
Saturn, yes.
And the nodes have an aspect on that Venus and Saturn, Venus, Mars, and Saturn conjunction, because Saturn is aspecting the nodes. So in a way, I think if Jupiter wouldn't have been there, things would have been far worse off, But yes, it is a very I think there will be this particular retrograde cycle of Venus will have huge far-reaching consequences, at least till 2028.
Okay. Oh, okay. So because it's related to Venus cycle?
Yeah, it is totally related to Venus cycle. And not just that, it is related to our fundamental value. What are we valuing? And there's also a very strong psychological element, because Saturn, Mars have got involved. And when Saturn, Mars gets involved, things are not, the Venus is completely gets muddied. She becomes completely impure.
Yeah.
And
so
I think for going forward, I think the Venus cycle, expect a lot of things to come out in terms of, of course, most people will say, oh, past relationships, so on and so forth. That, indeed, all that is always true of retrograde Venus. But this particular cycle, I think it will be more about, issues with water, issues with, in terms of artificial intelligence, issues of government controls worldwide. That is going to be a big one, especially government controls.
Yeah. Well, so summarized is from your view of for us also with Vedic view. So this Venus retrograde starting from our awareness about our relationship with ancestor, and bring to this kind of Ashlesha.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Ashlesha.
Yeah.
And then so that when it comes to Ashlesha, it's about a little bit about the poison and uncomfortable
Yeah.
So about the water, like you said, you mentioned about the water and the government control these things. I know because I think that was the beginning, and I opened it because this the idea about Vedic astrology is also embedded in everyday's life. It's not just about talking astrology and talking problem, but it's about how you live, what's your way to live within, and
Yeah.
maybe with your diet or with your products. I always remember, to be honest, because I didn't ask Sono give me a chart reading, but there's one time we're talking about what are we going to do, and you say, oh, look at my chart, and you give me some suggestion about my chart, remember? And I didn't say I practice it, but sometimes when I face challenge, I didn't sleep well. Let me say that, and you remember. So
Yeah.
I cannot sleep well. So every time when I remember you tell me to practice certain mantra
Yeah.
will help me have a nice sleep. Oh my God! Even I don't understand what mantra means,
Yeah.
but it works with help me to calm my brain down, because Aquarius is so crazy. Before I sleep, I will read some news and make myself so angry. And then if I stop watching all those news and just doing the meditation with the mantra, oh my God, I have a nice sleep. So is there any suggestion, any practice? I mean, anyway, with jewelry or whatever, any simple practice help us to hold ourselves during this Venus retrograde?
I think, are you looking at
I don't know.
in
I know everyone is different. So is there a general practice, or maybe everyone is different?
Uh, yeah, I mean, there are lots of simple mantras
Mm-hmm,
that people can do. And I think, because Ashlesha is all about the
mm-hmm,
poisons and things like that,
mm,
simple Ram mantra, Sita Ram will also do very well.
mm-hmm.
Because, like I mentioned in Kali earlier about the yuga that we are in, the
Yes.
Kali, which is one of the easiest ways of getting spiritually sort of, I don't want to use the word enlightenment because it
Mm-hmm.
has so much of, sort of, it's like a big bombastic word. But
Uh-huh.
to be, let's say, spiritually on a alignment in what you're meant to do, and in,
Mm,
spiritually totally aligned with your own core self, then I think the Nama Japa, or just chanting the name of, let's say, Sitaram, Hanuman, or something like that, is
mm-hmm.
extremely potent, and
Mm.
just the name in itself
Okay.
will take you through, because it will diversify into, I mean, all the thoughts that keep happening all
Mm-hmm.
the time, it will take you away from those thoughts,
Mm.
and it will align you to, kind of like get your intelligence to work in a certain manner.
Lovely.
Uh, so I think that will help quite a lot. But other than that, I think also, sort of watching what we are eating, and,
Yeah.
sort of having some kind of, because in the sky for the next few months, there is a very potent, aspect of Saturn on Venus, and, also Saturn, and Ketu
Yes.
as well, south node of the moon. So this
Yes.
is for like a huge tapasvi yoga, So there's going to be a tapasvi is somebody who is sort of does a lot of discipline, has
Mm-hmm.
very strong sense of discipline
Mm-hmm.
towards achieving a particular goal. So
Okay.
one should make use of it,
Okay.
because it may be a little bit hard, that make a sensible plan as to what one really wants to do, and spend some time studying a little bit about the subject, and
Mm.
include some kind of ancient spiritual texts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think little bit, I'm not saying, oh, you have to now sit with books and, your
Yeah.
time, but every day, I think simple things will
Yeah.
take you a long way. Any kind of study, will take you in good stead.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Sana, because this is what I like, because it's not astrology in the in the India, in the Hindu culture, is not just astrology. It's everyday's life. It's
Yeah.
what you eat, what you read, and what do you live. And I like it. I say that is so beautiful. I mean, that is full of symbolism, but people maybe not thinking. Well, for people don't believe in astrology, maybe not thinking that way. But for us, it's all about the beautiful symbolism, and use this symbolism to remind us who we are and what we are facing and what we are doing.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I'm so lucky to have you and to know the older friend of you who practice Vedic astrology. You guys are treasures, and especially you, I have to say, because I mean, I think it's a very personal connection, to be honest, because when other people talking about that, I maybe not easy to absorb it. And we have a very good connection. I don't know why, since day one. And then when you say that, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I find a point. I think it's sometimes it's not who is good or who is bad, but it's also we are good friends and we have a very good connection to each other.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're talking about, and that really helped me. That's why I want to share with our audience, to be honest, because Vedic is a beautiful tradition, and I mean, if you are interested, please visit Sona's website. I think your website is a Divine Circle, right?
Circle of Divine Astrology. Yeah, Circle of Divine at .com. Yeah. So
circledivine.com.
yeah, and I'm also starting some kind of Panchang course for the month of
Yes.
August, because I think August will be quite an explosive month.
Okay.
And it affects whatever you put in,
Mhm.
whatever efforts you do, whatever sort of sadhana you do, whatever work discipline you
Mhm.
put in will have very far-reaching consequences going forward.
Yeah. So I just hear about, so in August you start the Panchang course.
Yeah. It's
Please tell us
yes.
more. Please tell us more. From when and
So
where people can
Panchang
come.
is,
Yes.
yeah, sure, join. And so it's part of basically even before you go into any birth chart or anything,
Yes.
from an astronomical point of view, the interplay of the sun and the moon, and
Yes.
what cycle you are from the sun and the moon. So you could well be born in one of the cycles, sun opposite moon, which that means you're born around the full moon.
Yes.
Now, a person with a full moon energy is very different to a person with a new moon energy. We know that, right? A new moon means the sun, when you look up in the night sky, there is no moon.
Yes.
So, there is no moon. So new moon should really be no moon, so there is no moon in the sky. That means the moon is in a little bit of trouble, not little bit, but a lot of trouble.
Okay.
So only because that means the moon is not having its glory, and the sun is very strong. Because let's face it, it's only when it is full moon and it is the moon you can see in the night sky in full glory, absolutely full glory, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the Lakshmi, who's the spouse of consort of Lord Vishnu. He is the happiest and he will shower all the blessings. Why? Because it's the full moon. The Lakshmi is in full bloom. You see? So, but when it is new moon, it's kind of like a Kali energy, very dark. It's very Rahu-like energy. Because why? Because there is no moon. Lakshmi is gone. She's left the building.
So when you talk like Vedic astrology like this, I was just like, oh, tell me more about that. But yes, this is Panchang. This is kind of a calendar, right?
So this
calendar
is a
system.
Panchang.
Yeah.
So the Panchang. So this is one of the limbs of the Panchang. Panchang literally in Sanskrit means 5 limbs of time. So even before you have delved into your chart, all I need is the person's sun and moon, or just the birth date.
Wow.
And I can then figure out what cycle of the the sun and the moon they are at.
Beautiful.
And then some of the nakshatras and the yogas that are
Mm-hmm.
derived just from the sun and the moon.
Okay.
Interpret the sun and the moon and what day of the week you are born. That is
Ah,
huge, you know,
wow.
because born on a Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
versus somebody who's born on a Sunday. It's a very different energy. Even
Okay.
though both of them are very
Oh
strong
my God.
fire, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And if somebody is born on a Monday and if their moon in their natal chart is in a bit of a affliction, then I think we have a problem in terms of their, you know, ability to rejuvenate themselves through any kind of illness versus let's somebody notice anyone who's born on a Sunday, they seldom have any health issues.
Yeah.
Seldom.
Yeah.
They're pretty healthy by and
Okay.
large, people, you know.
Yeah. So this
So
course, when this
that is
course will
all in
start?
the Panchang
When
course. Yeah.
this course will start? What day?
I think it'll be beginning every Saturday
Okay.
morning,
Okay.
beginning in August. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will leave some message here. And also, if you are interested in this Panchang course, please contact Sona on Sona's Instagram or Facebook or So please, I will ask you send me your email. So I will put in the introduction, even on the YouTube. So people are interested in this beginning course will contact with Sona. I mean, Sona, thank you for your precious time.
Thank you.
Bring us this immense, beautiful knowledge of even include the Western psychological view, but also including beautiful Vedic tradition. I love it so much. Thank you so much, and thanks everyone to join us. And if you are interested, please follow Sona on I think it's a divine.
Yes.
Your handle is a divine Vedic essence.
Yes. Essence.
And
yeah.
So please join Sona on Instagram and ask her how to join the course and the email and everything, please.
Thank you.
I wish you a big success for this course. Even when you talk like that, I really want to go because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Rod.
Everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Bye.